Overcome every challenge.
You've literally written the book on police investigation.
If it seems suspicious, it usually is.
You really think aliens are responsible?
No, but let's have a look anyway.
But this year, his biggest challenge comes from one of his own.
I don't trust her.
Why the bloody hell not?
Your wife may do your bidding, but I am not she.
Murdoch Mysteries.
You want to feel important, to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
We know. We felt that way too.
And that's why we joined the Army National Guard. Take on your legacy.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent the views of the staff and management of WVUA 23.
Bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson Cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn and by Crimson Village.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. I'm Chase Goodbread of NFL.com. I'm joined by Big John Copeland of the 1992 Alabama National Championship team and Mike Parker, our senior recruiting analyst. We're going to have Clay Hahn of Burnham Hahn Exterminators on a little bit later in the program. Great to talk to Clay as always. We have got a big show for you here on Crimson Cover. Taking a look ahead, of course, at that Alabama-Georgia National Championship game. We'll be discussing that from top to bottom. We'll be recapping Alabama's win over Cincinnati in the CFP semifinal. Also, of course, Georgia's win over Michigan down in the Orange Bowl. Alabama basketball team knocks off the Florida Gators on the road. We'll touch on that as well. Final bowl pick standings coming at you. Great to be back from the holidays after our usual holiday break, and glad to be with you here on CCTV. Talking Alabama, Georgia, the rematch is upon us. The Crimson Tide taking on Georgia Monday night. It'll be an 8 p.m. Eastern time start, 7 p.m. locally here in Tuscaloosa. ESPN will be the broadcast. Going to be played in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Indianapolis Colts. That's where they'll get it on. The roof in that place, by the way, it's retractable. The weather's supposed to be about 25 degrees for this game. So, John, that roof's going to be closed.
It's better be closed. What? Yeah.
Mike, the Alabama offensive line versus that Georgia defensive line was the big storyline in the SEC title game when Alabama really ran away with this game. Crimson Tide really put together its best offensive line performance of the season, in my opinion.
Yes.
And here we are a couple weeks later with the rematch. And once again, I think that's the key. I don't think one can assume a dominant performance by the Alabama OL a second time in a row. It's going to be key.
I don't think that we're not going to get sacked at all like we did last time. I think Kirby is going to dial it up and throw everything in the kitchen sink to get to Bryce Young, because he torched him last time. Now, they had a bunch of hurries on him, and he moved around in the pocket, but this Georgia defensive front is going to be ticked off. And but I like our offensive line, especially the way they've been playing the last two games.
Mike, I kind of disagree with that. I think if Kirby want to win this football game, he don't dial it up.
Don't?
I think he dropped 7, 8 at times. Make him sit in the pocket, because once you get this kid moving, that's when he's at his best. You don't want this kid moving around the pocket. I want you to keep him in the pocket, make him make decisions, and make him make the throw. But if you dialing it up and the offensive line is playing as good as we think they should play, he's going to pick them apart.
You got to get there with 4. You got to get there with 4. Now, Kirby Smart absolutely, he hated it at Alabama as defensive coordinator. He still hates it at Georgia. He hates rushing 3 and dropping 8. He really doesn't do that, but he wants to get there with 4. He really, and that's the way it's got to be. I think because Bryce Young can handle the blitz. And for quarterbacks, John, you're a high school football coach. It's no different in high school. When the blitz comes, you tell the quarterback the hole in the defense is right where the blitz is coming from.
Without question.
Open man's usually right over the top of the blitzer, right?
Because the guy they have to combat that, what he's leaving from, he can't get there in time. Not for the quick throw.
Agree to disagree.
Going to be critical to see if Alabama can protect Bryce Young. That'll be huge. Also big.
But I will say this, Parker. I think because of who Kirby Smart is, I think he's going to do exactly what you said. And I think he's going to get picked apart.
It might happen. But, look, this is going to be an old school smash mouth football game.
And that's the kind of game Georgia can win. If it's old school smash mouth, he can win that kind of game.
It is, no doubt. But we just played an old school matchup, and it looked like something you saw 30 years ago.
Yeah, but you can't do that against Georgia.
That was Cincinnati.
I know.
Look, you can't do that against Georgia.
I know who we played against.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Look, here's the thing about Georgia, John. As good and talented as that Georgia defense is, almost all the studs are in the front seven. The secondary is not that great.
Mm-hmm.
They're vulnerable back there. And so,
yes, they are.
And that's why pass protection is so key, because if Bryce Young has the time he needs to throw, he can pick that secondary apart as long as he's got the time. But that front seven for Georgia is monstrous.
If I'm Kirby Smart, then I'm going to play into my hand. If I know I'm great up front, I'm going to bring in an extra guy in the secondary and force them to run the football. I'm going to give them numbers up front because I think my guys can play with one less number.
And I think
and force them to run the football.
And if they do that, I think Bill O'Brien is fine with
Pound and Robinson.
Exactly.
I don't think they can do that with Georgia front seven though.
He doesn't have to run for 100 and 200 yards like he did last ball game. Just enough to keep him honest. And I think that's what's going to happen, too.
Georgia, of course, dominated Michigan in the other semifinal. That final score was 34-11. That Dogs defense dominated one of the best offensive lines in the country. Stetson Bennett, 20 out of 30. 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, looked so much better against Michigan than he did against Alabama a couple weeks earlier. James Cook, the running back, had a huge game against Michigan, had over 100 receiving yards as a running back. John, they can line that kid up in the slot. They can line him up out wide. And if you want to stick a linebacker on him, they'll throw to him all day.
That's right. There's no question about it. Probably the best football player for pound, position by position, the best football player on the field. Outside of Bryce Young.
I think the freshman Brock Bowers for Georgia is going to be, we're going to have to stay on
He's
him.
a matchup nightmare.
I've never seen.
Tough to deal with.
You can't put a strong safety on him because he's too big.
That's right.
You can't put a linebacker on him because he's too agile.
Yep.
He's a matchup nightmare.
Georgia's always got a stud tight end.
That's right.
Always.
Not like this, though.
They've had some great ones. But
guys, here's the thing. He can't beat us.
No.
They can throw it to that guy the entire football game. He can't beat us.
You want to know why? I don't think Stetson Bennett can beat us. And it's going to have to go through him. I don't think he can beat us.
All right, injury situation. Jalen Armour-Davis, the Alabama cornerback, questionable whether or not he will go. Of course, he was kind of in and out of the lineup for Alabama against Cincinnati. Going to be key to see if he is full go against the Bulldogs. The betting line for this one, the Georgia Bulldogs favored by 3 points, even though they got hammered by Alabama just a couple of weeks ago. The over-under for this game, 52. I kind of like the over, but we'll see how it plays out.
I do too, but I'm not betting on it.
I don't like the over.
You like the under? You think it'll go under?
I don't like the over. I think you're going to see a whole different ball game. And I talked to a guy today. Look, they're saying the coach is going to change this and they're going to do this. All that doesn't matter because coaches don't play football. The football game is going to be decided by the guys on the football field. And as a football player, ex-football player, I know what it means to get embarrassed by a team and then having a chance to play them again. You're going to see a different Georgia football team, and it's not going to have anything to do with coaches.
All right, before we get out of here, a quick note on ticket prices. $500 for the cheap seats in the upper decks. That's about what you'll pay online. Probably going to sink from there. The prices have been dropping a lot. So if you're deciding to make the trip out there at the last minute, you might be able to get a good deal right before the kickoff from the ticket man standing outside. But right now, the cheap seats about $500 a pop. If you want to sit In the prime seats, 50-yard line, lower bowl, you're talking $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000. Those prices are going to drop too, but right now, that's where they are sitting. So there you have that. We are going to be back on the other side of the break. Going to talk to Clay Hahn of Burnham Hahn Exterminators. Always great to sit down with Clay for a couple minutes. Going to recap that Alabama-Cincinnati game as well. Stick with us. You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Everyone has a story. From simple observations to extraordinary circumstances, the people around us have compelling stories to share. Stories of leadership and dedication, of opportunities that inspire others, of accomplishments and experiences that encourage, teach, and point toward the future. These are the people and stories making an impact at Shelton State Community College. And together, this is our Shelton Statement. Begin yours today.
Log on, shop, and buy at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
20 David, 20 David, 50 David in need of assistance.
Go! Let's kick ass. SWAT isn't about kicking ass. It's about saving lives.
Which sometimes requires kicking a little ass.
Street! Street! Street!
Why'd we let him drive?
Take care of business, fellas. Never be in a hurry to die.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. Chase Goodbread, Mike Parker, John Copeland, and Clay Hahn of Burnham Hahn Exterminators joining us here for the remainder of the program. Great to see you.
Good to see you
as
guys.
Always, Clay.
Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Great to be back after our holiday break. Clay, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on at Burnham Hahn, especially the services. You know, the termite control is big. I've got the Centricon system from you guys at my house.
Right.
Apart from the termite control, what are some of the services you guys offer?
Well, we do termite and pest control. So we use the Centricon for termite. Pest control, we have 3 pest control programs, monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly pest control. Or if you just need like a one-time service, you know, if you're seeing ants or spiders or something like that, then we can do that service for you as well. But we encourage everybody, starting off the new year, everybody's doing New Year's resolutions, try to have a healthy home for you and your family. So monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly pest control, start off on the right foot and we'll take care of you.
Clay, what are the primary services that you offer at Barnum and Horn?
The most important thing that we do is my little tongue-in-cheek quote is everybody needs Jesus and everybody needs a termite warranty. So if you have a house, termites are all up underneath your yard. If you had some X-ray vision goggles and could look up underneath your yard outside, you would see termites everywhere.
And it doesn't matter where you build.
Yeah, they're probably everywhere, especially in the South like this. So they're foraging towards your house, and we want them to hit those Centricon stations and take that bait back to the colony and kill the whole colony out, including the queen. You could have multiple colonies around the outside of your house, and each colony could have 1 million termites in it. So that's a lot going on around your house that you don't even know about.
I've been a customer of Burnham Hahn myself for a long time, been super happy with the service. Clay?
20 years.
I've
had him for over 20 years.
He's 20 plus, I'm 15 at least. What are some of the things that customers can do to kind of partner with Burnham Hahn, Clay, in order to get these pests taken care of?
Yeah. Well, another funny phrase is cleanliness is next to godliness. It's not in the Bible, but it should be type thing. But keep your home as clean as possible. Don't have any standing water next to your home. We call those conducive conditions for a termite or an insect infestation. And to be consistent with your pest control program. Always be consistent in getting your house a pest control service at least once a year, but be on a monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly service, because that consistency keeps all the insects out. And because once you start a problem, if it gets out of hand, it can get really out of hand.
So it's not advised. Let's say I see some roaches and rats in my house. Yeah. It's not advised to call you for a one-time offer. You need to get that done.
If you start seeing it like that, then they're already in there and making babies and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So you need to get it taken care of and get on a program and get those things out of there, because it's cold outside and we're getting more rodent calls for mice and rats than we have any other time of the year right now. So make sure that you take care of your house and take care of your family.
Residential or commercial pest control needs, be sure to call Clay Hahn. The number over there, 553-4433, or visit burnhamhahn.com.
I got
online.
I got a redhead rat I might need you to take care of.
That's right. He's a fire ant, man. He's a fire ant.
I look, man. They've tried to kill me, but I
keep coming back, right?
I keep coming back.
All right, recapping that Alabama-Cincinnati game now. Big victory for the Crimson Tide. The final score, 27-6. Alabama takes care of business. Took a while to pull away. Cincinnati hung in there in the first half. Alabama pulls away in the second half. Brian Robinson Jr., big-time performance, 25 for 198 on the ground, John. We talked about this. Alabama just went old school with the running game and pushed these guys around.
You know, that's why I like Coach Saban so much. You know, everybody have these what they think he's going to do with this football game, or what kind of identity this team have. You can never say that with Coach Saban, because he's going to take advantage of what you are giving him at that given play. And he recognized real early they can't stop our run, so why use our Heisman quarterback when we could just run it down their throat?
That's all they did.
I'm with you. I knew when we ran the ball 3 times to start off the ball game, I was like, if we just keep doing this, we're going to kill them. And all ball game, yeah, and he was getting chunks of yards. Mm-hmm. The type that you like, John. You don't like those 50, 60-yard runs.
No.
You want 5 to 7 yards per carry.
2nd and 1. I mean,
And he looked like a bulldozer, man. He looked healthy.
Like, the entire week, Cincinnati went into practice thinking, okay, we got to stop Bryce Young.
Probably
everything was centered around Bryce Young.
I bet you it was.
And they ran it down there.
Yep.
Clay, the touchdown pass to Ja'Cory Brooks near the end of the half took the score from 10-3, a really tight game late in the first half. Took it out to 17-3, gave Alabama a lot of breathing room. That was a huge play.
That was huge for them. It kind of helped them to pull away a little bit, and they're going to need him to make big plays in the Georgia game and the national championship game as well, like he did before. But what Alabama did, they just enforced their will and slowly pulled away. And like I said, just kept ramming it down their throats, pulled away, won the game, and then here comes Georgia now.
Back to this national championship game coming up for 1 second. I know you're an Alabama fan,
right,
but I want to hear the truth. What is your gut feeling? Dig down. What do you feel about this national championship game?
Well, after seeing Georgia just, beat Michigan so bad. You think you've kind of woke a sleeping giant type thing, and they've got some confidence again, and they've got a little bit of swagger back, and they say, hey, we got 5-star athletes too, and it's like you said earlier, the offensive line played the best they could have ever played in the SEC championship game. And it's going to be hard for them to play that good again. Now, hopefully, Brian Robinson, is healthier as he's ever been too. So hopefully, he can make some big time plays. But you got to get those cross passes, get some big plays on that, and then hopefully we can pull out another one against them.
So your gut feeling is Alabama by
10.
Points. That's my gut feeling too.
We'll get to the picks a little later in the program. Another key to this game, obviously, is how Georgia's offensive line handles Will Anderson. If you watch the semifinal against Michigan,
they can't handle Will Anderson. No, there's nobody.
Well, he wasn't great in Cincinnati. I thought Cincinnati did a great job giving help to the tackles that was blocking him.
And he still got 2 sacks.
Yeah, but they wasn't game-changing sacks.
One of them was at the end of the game.
They ran away from him the entire
game. But he got chipped the entire football game. They were sending running backs chipping him.
Georgia chipped Aiden Hutchinson, the stud pass rusher for Michigan, who really didn't do anything at all against Georgia. They chipped him a lot. They also did a lot of quick throws, so he didn't even have a chance to impact the game. So maybe,
and as a pass rusher, if you're getting chipped, chip is something you don't see coming. If I'm rushing against a tackle, you don't see the chip. So that's disrupt the entire pass move.
All right, plenty more to come here on Crimson Cover. Stick around. Clay Hahn's going to stick around with us as well. We're going to have our picks for the Alabama-Georgia game. Take a look at that Crimson Cover ticker, Alabama basketball, and plenty more. You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its 3rd generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Miss Stallworth works so hard with endless patience, kindness, and creativity to get her students excited to foster a love of learning. My son says that Mrs. Stallworth is the best teacher in the world, and he's so lucky to have her.
That is really sweet. Oh, that makes me want to cry.
Alice Stallworth, WVUA 23's featured teacher winner, sponsored by Shelton State and Bryant Bank.
We want to hear your good news stories and be a bright spot. Join WVUA 23 on Thursdays and help us shine a light on what's good in our community.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover. This segment brought to you by Crimson Village, the most active and fun-loving aging adult community in all of Tuscaloosa. Residents there enjoying the finest in dining, activities, and lifestyle experience with extensive amenities conveniently located off of Veterans Memorial Parkway right behind Crimson Care. Crimson Village offers 3 levels of care, including the Tide Memory Care program. They take the highest of precautions when it comes to the coronavirus. Give them a call. Transition specialist Tim Eads will get you taken care of, 632-6699, or visit crimsonvillage.com. And remember, Crimson Village owns fun. All right, we're going to own Alabama basketball to kick things off in our final segment, fellas. A really strong performance on the road by Nate Oates' team. They knock off the Florida Gators down in Gainesville, 83-70 this week. That moves Alabama to 2-0 on the SEC season, just getting underway with SEC play. It was a big night for really the starters all around. All 5 starters ended up in double digits with points. Javon Quinterly, 19. Jawan Gary, 19 points, 8 rebounds as one of those big postmen for the Crimson Tide. Florida's a tough place to play, Mike. They really got it done.
Yeah, and my hat's off to them for playing tough the whole ball game. But man, I don't know about y'all, but I love watching Javon Quinterly. I mean, that guy is extremely exciting to watch. I haven't seen anybody that's able to guard him and take away him driving to the rim. He drives on everybody to the rim. But you know, my man J.D. Davison didn't do squat in that game.
He's been slumping a little bit lately.
I'll admit it. I'll admit it.
The kid was in high school last year, Mike.
Yeah, but he's supposed to. I mean, look, I thought he was going to be, you know.
I think when he scored 20 against Gonzaga,
yes, I was excited.
Expectations kind of went like this, and people forgot what John just noted.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time.
Here's my takeaway from the game. And look, I understand. I understand the grind. You know, basketball, you play a lot of games, man. You finally get into conference play. You're tired. You played a lot of basketball. But my thing was, you can't ever be flat, especially when it comes to league play. And I thought the first half they came out a little bit of flat. And I'm not just talking about the shooting. I'm talking about body language. I just didn't see the body language from a 15-ranked team in the country.
Clay, what do you think about what Nate Oates has brought with this team?
Man, he's really stepped it up. I know they're a little streaky at times, though, but I was glad they were able to bounce back from a slow first half to bounce back in the second half and pull away and get a big victory on the road like that. Road victories are important.
They've got to improve their three-point shooting. They're only shooting 33%, and when you're hawking up 30 to 35 per game, that's going to hurt you.
But you know what? You know what? Come back then and know we got to go. Playing great defense. I think this is a really good defensive team, and if you're missing shots like that, then you got to be able to play some good defense.
All right, we just got about a minute to go here in the program. We're going to go ahead and skip the Crimson Cover ticker. We'll bring that back to you next week. Go straight to the Alabama-Georgia picks. Mike, what do you got?
I got.
Here's your final standings, by the way.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what.
I didn't get the pick the last.
He picked for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Who Mike you got, picked. Mike?
I got Alabama in a close one, maybe 35-32.
I picked Georgia to win the SEC title game over Alabama. And not going to make the same mistake twice. I got Alabama by 6. Clay, what you think?
I got Bama 27-17.
27-17.
I got Bama winning in a defensive battle. I think Alabama 17-14.
You called it under 52. That's way under 52.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think there are going to be a lot of adjustments made. I think it's going to be a hard-fought defensive football game, and I don't think you're going to see more than 17, 20 points from either team.
So you think they probably will get to Bryce Young a little bit with that pass rush?
I think they're going to disrupt him. I think they're going to make him very uncomfortable. But I also think the offense is going to play a little better and eat up a little more time of possession.
And it's going to be great to watch because these two teams hate each other. They do not.
I wouldn't say hate.
I don't know.
But very respected. They're very well respected by each other.
All right, for Clay Hunt, Burnham Hunt Exterminators, Mike Parker, John Copeland, I'm Chase Goodbread of NFL.com. We'll see you next week on Crimson Cover.
The Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites in Tuscaloosa invites you to come and experience our award-winning hotel and exceptional hospitality. We are located just minutes from the Alabama campus and area shopping. If it's business, shopping, groups, or family that bring you to town, call us to book your stay. Once you have stayed with us, you'll understand. We welcome you as our guests, and you depart as our friends. The Holiday Inn Express.
Welcome to Baseball Country, a ministry in West Alabama that reaches far outside the diamond. We create opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to encounter Jesus. From baseball and softball training for high school to the big leagues, to men's and women's team sports camps, men's and women's ministry, youth mentored hunts, service projects, custom retreats, and so much more. If you want to get in the game, email Sam at baseballcountry.com.